It was in 1984, the beginning of 1984, at a missions conference up in the Bethel Baptist Church in Porter, Indiana, that I met Celeste. And upon meeting her, I met the girl that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, if she'd have me. It took me a while to convince her that I was the guy, and while we were on deputation, we got married in October of 1984, and immediately, as a matter of fact, our first meeting was on the 10th of October, which is just 6 days after we got married. But while we was on deputation, a missionary who was down in southern part of Chile, Brother Buddy Woolbright, contacted us, asking us if we'd be willing to come take his work while he went home for deputation. I have to confess I was reluctant because I'd been on deputation to go to Peru. I felt the Lord wanted me in Peru. And as we tried to get our visas to go to Peru, we were rejected. Told us that there were too many missionaries in Peru at the time. That's the way the government did things. You could only come into Peru as a missionary left. You could take his visa and come in, but it wasn't available. So we contacted Brother Woolbright and told him we'd be glad to go down and take over his work. So we arrived into Puerto Montt, Chile in October of 1985, exactly a year after we were married, and started working with what was actually an English class, is what Brother Buddy had, and teaching some folks English with the requirement that if they took the English class, they'd have to come to the services. But I began working with the Central Baptist Church in Puerto Montt, and we were there from 1985 through 1987. And from there, Brother Buddy came back, but he let it be known that he felt like he would not be staying down here that long. So we went to Santiago and tried to start a work there. We started working in Ñuñoa, the section 10 of Santiago. But after a year's worth of work, it didn't go anywhere. And so we felt like that wouldn't go anywhere. And we got a message to go back to Puerto Montt, and we did. And we got back there in 1990, and we started a mission out of that church in Puerto Montt, down in a city called Calbuco. And we started the Central Baptist Church down there in Calbuco. And the Lord truly blessed that work. Some things happened, and I wouldn't want it on video to describe all some sad things that happened, but some resentments began growing in the church in Puerto Montt because of what was going on in Calbuco. The city's about 50 miles apart, and it led to the fact that we actually left Puerto Montt, and we had to leave Calbuco also. And we went back to the States in 1994. And while I was in the States in 1994, I lost my visa into Chile. And right across the hallway in Houston, where the Chile embassy was, the Peruvian embassy was right across the hallway, so I walked in there and asked, what possibilities are there to get into Peru? Oh, there's plenty of possibilities. All you got to do is apply for it. They were completely wrong, but I did. And I began telling everyone I'm going into Peru. And I thank God for the help of Brother Tom Pace, who opened up the way for me to come on into Peru. He granted us the visa. And immediately I began working as an evangelist by orders of my pastor. We were at the times members of the Midway Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas, where Brother Eddie Neal was the pastor there. And we began working as an evangelist. My pastor's advice was, travel the country, get your feel of the country, find out where the works are, find out what groups work and where, and find where you'd be more useful. And so for just about a year and a half, I arrived into Peru in September of 1994, and I worked in evangelism until May of 1996. And I got to see a whole lot of Peru. I preached in many churches, and the Lord truly blessed.